It's not to manipulate. It's not even to get the outcome to change things. He has to for himself, because that's part of being masculine, is stepping up and saying, look, whatever the consequences are, I will not allow myself to be disrespected, right? Like, because there's no risk, there's no fear of loss, there's no fear of it. There's no conceptualization of what you have, because you can't lose it.
Try to start with the conversations and being like, having a boundary there, because things can turn around. But if they don't, and you've really tried and you've had boundaries in other ways, then it might be time that you need to actually walk away. Like, how would a man turn it around? And I guess I could tell you how a woman would turn it around.
Well, in order for a man to turn it around, right, what he has to do, first thing he has to do, right, is he has to accept risk and loss. Right? Because without the ability to walk away, as a man, you have no power, right? A woman has to know, right, no matter what the relationship is, that in the relationship with her, if she does mistreat you and she does not respect you, whatever the cost is to you, you will walk away. She has to know that. Because if she doesn't, now again, it doesn't mean that you're just going to walk away, that she can't count on you, right? Because the promise you're making is, look, as long as you do not mistreat me, and you're respecting me, and I will be with you. I will be 100% loyal to you. I will be with you to death and beyond. But
boundary, walking away that you're talking about.
Right. So he has to get that boundary. He has to put it in her mind to realize, which again, it's not to manipulate. It's not even to get the outcome to change things. He has to for himself, because that's part of being masculine, is stepping up and saying, look, whatever the consequences are, I will not allow myself to be disrespected.
Right.
I will not allow this to happen to me. And so, and I get resistance from some guys that are like, well, what if I'm married and I have kids? I can't just walk away. And it's like, well, it's not ideal, but if you don't have it within you that you would, then you can't change the situation at all, right? So you have to be willing to accept the risk. So that's the first thing he has to do.
And sometimes too, even stopping the conversation with someone who's acting that way, being like, I'm not going to talk to you unless you can talk to me with respect, or something like that, can help somebody turn things around. And it's still a boundary, and you do have to stop talking to them, or be like, I'm going to go in the other room and work on something else, and you can let me know when you're ready to have a decent human being conversation, and sometimes that can help, because I know, like you said, that guys don't want to be like, so I just walk away anytime she does that. It's like, you can start with things like, I'm not going to talk to you, like, continue this conversation if you're going to talk to me in that way. Like, we can talk about whatever you need to talk about, but it has to be respectful. And if she can't do that, you do walk away and go do your own thing. And then, allow her to come to you when she's ready. Don't even ask her if she's ready. Like, don't even go to her and be like, so are you good now? Because then that's going to make her even more angry. Allow her to come to you, because at this point, she's the one that messed up anyway. So she does need to be the one repairing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, like, she disrespects you, or you get into, one time and then you're like, peace out, bitch. I'm out of here. Like, you can take the kids. I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, I know.
It's setting but you have to be willing to do that. Right. It's like,
if it comes to that.
If in your heart of hearts, you thought, there's that no matter what you did to me, that I would stay, you would not have any respect for me, right? Like, you have to know that, look,
because you don't have respect for yourself,
right? If I mistreat this man, like, he will be fiercely loyal if I don't mistreat him. But if I mistreat him, he's gonna be gone. But if you sense in your heart that, no, it doesn't matter what I do, he's just gonna stick around and constantly, then you have no respect for me. Like, you can't see me as the man. Right? Like, because there's no risk, there's no fear of loss, there's no fear of it. There's no conceptualization of what you have, because you can't lose it, So,
well, it's funny you say that, because I'm reading this very religious book called, I think it's called Loving Him Well. And he actually talks about women doing that, because they, a lot of times too, they can be on the side like men are, like we're talking about, where they just let the man be angry at them and talk to them however and demean them. And then the man doesn't have respect for her. And like, that's not as important. Respect isn't as important for women, but if a man is also demeaning you and
Yeah.
belittling you and being
Yeah.
condescending, he's
Yeah.
not showing you love either. So
Right.
he actually talks about how women have to have boundary, like you said, and act on it and be like, you know, we will be separating if you can't talk to me in a respectful way. And even one guy was like, when she had respect for herself, it made me respect her more. And so I think it's really important for guys to respect themselves. And I'm sure going through what they've been through, being the more submissive one and just kind of like people pleasing to like keep their wife happy or not upset with them, they probably have lost some respect for themselves. And so the first thing is they need to have respect for themselves and know that they're good men and that they deserve to be able to walk away if someone can't treat them well. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. As a man, you cannot be hanging on, right? You cannot be living your life like I'm in a risk. Like you have to be the man and use your best judgment, which is not always 100% correct, but you have to rely on that, right? Obviously taking the input of other people, obviously take into consideration and putting others' needs above yours that are in your care. But ultimately, you have to make your decisions and you have to let them lie wherever it is. And if it means that you're going to lose the girl, then you lose the girl. But you don't lose that. Because if you lose that, you lost the girl already. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that, so if you're in that situation as a guy, you have to make that, you have to accept the loss of the relationship. Like you have to actually even visualize it and be like, okay, I accept this. Like I'm going to live my life and be the man that I am. And if that causes the loss, it's not what caused the loss. It's me that caused the loss, being myself, which I should be, right? So it's never meant to be.
Which I'm sure is hard for men because they say, you know, that they pride themselves in being faithful and loyal. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but I'm just saying that from that perspective, it probably makes it harder for them to have to think about actually walking away because that also means that they're going to think they failed at being loyal or, you know, committed to the relationship. But if you really think about it, if you're a man in that position, is it really harder to walk away than to be with somebody that treats you in a way where you can't even be yourself and, you know, you're just people pleasing for the rest of your life? Like, you do have to obviously take into account you can't be selfish and, you know, just make decisions like, oh, okay, I just want to leave now in my marriage. But at the same time, like, nobody deserves to be treated poorly. And, you know, if you actively try to work on that, that's why I wanted to mention the, you know, try to start with the conversations and being like, having a boundary there because things can turn around. But if they don't, and you've really tried and you've had boundaries in other ways, then it might be time that you need to actually walk away, like you said.
Yeah. And it's even, you know, just like you're saying, I agree with it. It's not even that you have to like take the step. I'm not even saying at this point to take the step process of trying to set boundaries and then eventually walk away. I'm saying that you have to
you can do it.
Exactly. You have to say that ultimately, I will walk away if I need to. Right?
Yeah,
like
that is the first step, though. Because, you can't even have a boundary about communication if you can't, in your mind, be like, I will walk away if this happens. Like, I will hold this boundary no matter what. You're right. Like, that has to be the first step.
Better than